Like,
you don't think you'll ever regret what you did, do you?
No, because before I transitioned, I was the biggest piece of shit. And that's how I always know, like, when I see these, like, younger people transitioning and, you know, they regret it, it's like, the difference is, like, it either enhanced your life or it didn't, you know? And for me, there was no path for me to necessarily be, like, a participating member of society, if that makes sense. You know, it was like, you know, as a teenager, I was, like, drinking and partying and making no good decisions, couldn't hold a job, had no motivation. And then I started transitioning and suddenly I had a path. So that's what it kind of gave for me. And it's, I would say, cured like 95% of my gender dysphoria, which is supposed to be the goal, you know, and that's really the thing that it should be done for. So that 5%, I don't think you can ever truly cure mental illness. I think you'll have little spikes. But, you know, it used to be so bad I would like have breakdowns and not be able to leave my house. And now I'm on a podcast with Roseanne Barr, and not to say in like a career or whatever way, but just I'm able to do shit now, and sometimes really cool shit that I would have never been able to do because I was so sick with gender dysphoria. And
yeah, well, I had such body dysmorphia that I let my gut get like a goddamn suitcase, and I could never wear a swimsuit because it was folded in half belly.
Right. That's the other thing.
So I had to get that removed surgically.
I believe in that, though.
It did change my life when I got that gut skin removed. I mean, I felt renewed.
Brand new bitch. That's how I felt. I'm like, oh, my forehead got shaved. Brand new bitch.
Yeah, so it helped me, but that was after a lifetime of suffering with eating disorders, you know. Now, like, everybody's just going, hey, I got an eating disorder, and you better give me the thumbs up. It blows my mind.
It will, you know, being a fat fuck is an eating disorder as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Being fucking fat and proud of it and willing to continue that state of self-harm is definitely an eating disorder. And by the way, I just want to say, just because I find this is important, I don't want to position transition as a cure for gender dysphoria just because it worked for me. I think it's actually very rare cases that it works for someone. And I think most of the people who transition are being led astray. I think there was a time when there was a lot of gatekeeping of who could transition and a lot of really thorough assessment of who it would benefit and who it wouldn't. Now the standard is if you woke up tomorrow and wanted to transition, they would just do it despite the fact that you're bald and tall and full beard and you're a fucking man.
I would look hot though as a woman.
I mean,
but when you did it, did you still have to do the year of therapy to transition? Okay, so that was gone by the time you started. Because I remember, I'm so old, I remember when you used to have to, unless that's not true.
No, there was a time where you had to actually like socially transition first, and you had to undergo a lot of like mental assessments. Yeah. And now it's like you're 12 and you want to cut your tits off because you're a normal 12-year-old who's uncomfortable with the fact that you're growing tits. Okay, we'll make you a boy and we'll cut your tits off because we're getting fucking paid for it.
Every girl is uncomfortable when they get boobs.
Right. I was uncomfortable when I got boobs. Do you think do you think it would be helpful to go back? I mean, that's a good question for both of you, because that used to be the standard. You had to complete assessment and therapy before you could begin to transition. Do you think? I'm going to ask you first. Obviously, do you think that would benefit society if we went back to that, or you think that's archaic? And
100%. I mean, not only benefit, it would be saving lives, because these detransitioners, you know, oftentimes they're very young, you know, 18, 19, 17 years old, because they had, you know, the sex change at 16, and then by year 2.
Some of them, they're getting on them hormones at 11.
Yeah. And you can get double mastectomies in the U.S. as early as like 12. And I'm like, do 12-year-olds even have breasts? I don't really know. I mean, what are they cutting off? Like but it would be helpful, you know, especially I think the solution is bar minors from doing it, because all the studies that have been done on gender dysphoric children is that when you leave them alone and you let them develop naturally, the numbers range anywhere between like 70 and 90% in these studies kind of together that they grow out of it.
Yeah, look at Angelina Jolie's child.
Yeah.
And Megan Fox's and, you know, again, these fucking white libs that need a fucking minority status in their life somehow. They probably feel even more guilt because they're rich, white, and straight. But, you know, Minors should be banned from it. There's simply no way you can, even if you know in your heart of hearts you're trans, even if I were to grant them that, there's no way you can know exactly what you want to do because, spoiler alert, I haven't gotten a full sex change because that shit's demented.
You're not going to do the full.
No, that shit is a lie. You can never have a real vagina.
Yeah, you can't ever have sex again.
Not what we know as sex. No,
Right.
You can maybe put something in it if you're lucky, but it's not sex necessarily. I mean, it's a lie. And, if I was maybe a little more naive, I would have fallen for that lie. But I figured it out that that's a lie. So I'm like, okay, well, then I'll be happy with changing other things. So the idea that a child can know not only they're trans, but exactly what they want to do, which in some cases irreversible, such as getting a pussy, quote unquote, is just fucking delusional.
Oh, I've just seen what the mutilation that they do to little children.
Especially
I've seen
the girls.
Pictures of it, yeah. And it's so much like how they mutilate sex slaves. It's like exactly the same thing.
Or, a lot like the shit the Nazis were doing.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
Mm-hmm.
God almighty, it's all just the same. I always said, oh my God, they got a blueprint with Auschwitz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They brought it to America.
Well, it's crazy because
They brought it to South America first, but it's heading up here now.
when you talk about like the bad side of like, okay, a kid wants to transition and you say, no, you're not going to do, you have to wait till you're 18. And then if it's a boy and they get the Adam's apple, it's like, well, I feel bad for them because now they're 18, they develop as a man and then they have to go back because of, which I don't know the percentages, but I imagine that's a small percent. That's the whole reason for doing hormone blockers and surgery on kids is that. So transgender is already a small group. Right. And then within that group is another small group. And it's like, okay, so we're going to base everything off this tiny group within a tiny group with a tiny group so that they don't feel bad. Right. My thing is...
So that's what my whole thing about the bonus hole.
Yeah.
They're going to make everything about 0.002% with the bonus hole and ignore all women.
Now I really want to find God hearing that word, that phrase.
Bonus
Have
holes.
you not heard it?
No, I've heard it. I just, maybe not ever out loud in person. So just hearing it is just like, wow, that's fucked up.
Well,
it's like so pedo.
It's everything. It's everything bad. It's dehumanization. It's medicalization. It's it's anti-women. It's anti-human. It's just fucked up.
No, it's like saying the butthole and the mouth is the primary holes. It's the pedo speak.
Yeah.
That's a clip.
Because that's what they do, They don't go for the little tiny vagina.
Well, some pervs do, sadly.
But most pedos like the butt and the mouth.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's called opening the third portal in the devil worship cult.
What, putting it in their butthole or mouth?
The butthole. That's what gives you the panda eyes that they worship that Lady Gaga wears.
That's a clip, too, right there, I think.
Honey, they're as dirty as you can dare to dream.
I always say that getting older is learning how many people do drugs and how many people are diddlers. Yeah. So way more people than you think doing coke, doing whatever the fuck. Everyone's on something. When you're a kid, you think everyone's raw dogging life. That's not the case. And you also learn how many people are fucking diddlers.
Yeah. Like, no shit.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, you find out, though, don't you?
In a way, yes, but in a way, no, because here's a small story. So I used to hang out when I was like 15 or 16 with this like 30-year-old man. And when you're 15 or 16, you think that's fucking cool. I was getting alcohol bought for me and my friends. I was getting to stay over at some guy's house and lie over where my mom was. And, it's not until you look back as an adult and be like, that was a fucking pervert. And a couple years ago, I saw on Facebook, he got arrested for diddling like some 13-year-old kid. So that's what that is. So you learn as you get older, because when you're a kid, you think it's just cool when adults pay you attention. That's part of why it's so fucked up.
That's why it's called grooming.
Yeah.